Episode 12, The Crossing. The alley behind Sal's diner smelled like garbage and possibility. Miguel Rodriguez emerged first into the pre-dawn darkness, his eyes adjusting to the sodium streetlights that turned everything the color of old photographs. 4:31 a.m. The Bronx held its breath in that strange hour when the night people had gone home and the day people hadn't yet risen. Behind him came Marcus, then Tommy clutching the Polaroid camera wrapped in a dark sweatshirt, then Ray, and finally Carmen, who pulled the door closed with a soft click that sounded too loud in the silence. "Rooftops," Miguel whispered, pointing up at the fire escape that climbed the back of Sal's building. "We go up, cross east 3 blocks, then north to Carmen's building. Stay low, stay quiet, and for God's sake, don't look down." Marcus felt his stomach tighten. The plan had seemed reasonable in the basement. Rooftops meant staying off the streets where Diego's crew was searching. But now, looking up at the rusted fire escape disappearing into darkness, the reality settled on him like a weight. They were going to jump between buildings. In the dark. With no safety net. "I'll lead," Miguel said, already moving toward the ladder. "I know which gaps are jumpable and which ones will kill you. Marcus, you're second. Keep everyone together. Tommy, you're in the middle with the camera. Ray, Carmen, stay close." The fire escape groaned under Miguel's weight as he climbed. The metal was cold and slick with morning dew. Marcus followed, his hands gripping the rungs, his mother's voice in his head. "Make good choices, baby." This wasn't a good choice. This was insane, but it was the only choice they had. 5 flights up, they reached the roof of Sal's building. The tar paper was soft under their feet, still holding yesterday's heat. Miguel crouched low and moved to the eastern edge, peering over. The next building was maybe 6 feet away, close enough to jump but far enough to kill you if you hesitated. "This one's easy," Miguel whispered. "Just don't think about it." He backed up 3 steps, ran, and leaped. For a moment he was suspended against the lightning sky, his body a dark silhouette, and then his feet hit the opposite roof and he rolled, coming up in a crouch. He turned back and gestured. Marcus's heart hammered. 6 feet. Nothing. He jumped further, playing basketball. But that was over concrete, not a 5-story drop to an alley full of dumpsters and broken glass. "Go," Tommy hissed behind him, "before Diego's crew comes back." Marcus ran and jumped. The moment of flight seemed to last forever, his body weightless, the wind rushing past, the gap yawning below him, and then his feet hit solid tar paper, and Miguel grabbed his arm, steadying him. "See?" Miguel said. "Easy." Tommy came next, the camera clutched to his chest, his boxer's legs propelling him across the gap with room to spare. Then Ray, who landed hard but safe. Carmen was the last, her face pale in the growing light, and when she jumped, Miguel caught her and held her for a moment before they all moved on. They crossed 2 more buildings that way, jumping gaps that ranged from 5 to 7 feet. The city was waking around them. Lights flickering on in apartment windows, the distant rumble of early buses, a siren wailing somewhere south. The sky was turning from black to deep blue, stars fading as dawn approached. The 4th gap stopped them cold. Miguel stood at the edge, looking across at the next building, and cursed under his breath. "It's wider than I remembered." Marcus came up beside him and felt his stomach drop. This wasn't 6 feet. This was 10, maybe 12. The buildings were different heights, too. They'd have to jump up as well as across. "We can't make that," Ray said, his voice tight. "We have to," Carmen said. She pointed back the way they'd come. "Diego's crew will be at Sal's any minute. We can't go back." Miguel studied the gap, his jaw working. "There's a fire escape on the far side. If we can get across, we can climb down to street level, cut through that building's lobby, and come out on 163rd. From there, it's 2 blocks to Carmen's building." "If we can get across," Marcus repeated. "That's a big if, Miguel." "I can make it," Miguel said. He was already backing up, getting a running start. "I've done longer." "When?" Marcus demanded. "When I was 12 and stupid." Miguel smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Wait here. I'll go first. Make sure the roof on the other side is solid. Then you follow, one at a time." Before anyone could argue, Miguel ran. His feet pounded the tar paper, faster and faster, and then he launched himself into the air. For a moment, he seemed to hang suspended. His body stretched out, reaching for the far side, and then he hit the opposite roof, his hands scrabbling for purchase, his feet dangling over the edge. Carmen screamed. Miguel's fingers found a pipe running along the roof's edge. He pulled himself up with a grunt, rolled onto the roof, and lay there breathing hard. When he stood, he was grinning. See? Piece of cake. You're insane, Marcus called across the gap. Yeah, well, you're next, Columbia. Come on. Marcus felt his legs turn to water. He'd never been afraid of heights, but this wasn't about height. This was about the very real possibility of dying in an alley at 4:45 in the morning. His body broken on concrete, his mother getting a phone call that would destroy her. But Diego's crew was coming, and they had the photographs, and Miguel was waiting on the other side. Marcus ran. The world narrowed to the sound of his feet, the rushing wind, the edge of the roof coming closer. He pushed off with everything he had, his body arcing through the air, and for one terrible moment he knew he wasn't going to make it. The far roof was too high, too far. He'd miscalculated. His chest hit the edge. His hands scrabbled for purchase, finding nothing but smooth brick. He was sliding backward, his fingers scraping, and then Miguel's hands locked around his wrists. "I got you," Miguel shouted. "I got you, Marcus. Just hold on." Marcus's feet dangled in empty air, 5 stories of nothing below him, and only Miguel's grip keeping him from falling. His shoulders screamed as Miguel pulled, dragging him inch by inch toward safety. "Help me." Miguel yelled back toward the other roof. Tommy was already running. He cleared the gap with a foot to spare, hit the roof rolling, and came up beside Miguel. Together they hauled Marcus up and over the edge. He collapsed on the tar paper, his heart trying to punch through his ribs, his hands shaking. "You good?" Miguel asked. "No," Marcus gasped. "I'm not good. I almost died." "But you didn't." Miguel squeezed his shoulder. "Come on, we need to get the others." Tommy went back to the edge and called across. "Ray, you're next?" Ray stood on the opposite roof, his face visible now in the growing dawn. He was shaking his head. "I can't make that." "You have to," Carmen said beside him. "I can't. I'm not built like you guys. I'm not fast enough." "Ray," Tommy's voice was hard. "You studied maps of Hunts Point for 3 days. You memorized every street in Diego's territory. You're the smartest guy I know. You can do this." "Being smart doesn't help me jump 12 feet. "Then don't think," Miguel called. "That's your problem, Ray. You think too much. Just run and jump. We'll catch you." Ray closed his eyes. Marcus could see his lips moving, maybe praying, maybe counting. Then he opened his eyes, backed up, and ran. He was slower than Miguel or Marcus, his legs pumping hard but without the explosive speed of the others. When he jumped high but not far enough. His trajectory was wrong from the start. He hit the wall 3 feet below the roof's edge. His hands caught the ledge, his fingers white-knuckled with strain, his body swinging in empty air. He tried to pull himself up, but couldn't. He didn't have the upper body strength, his arms were shaking, and his grip was already slipping. "Ray!" Marcus threw himself flat on the roof and reached down, Miguel beside him, both of them stretching their arms as far as they could. Their fingers brushed Ray's wrists but couldn't get a solid grip. "I'm slipping." Ray's voice was high with panic. "I can't hold on." "Yes, you can." Marcus grabbed Ray's right wrist with both hands. Miguel grabbed the left. "We got you, Ray! We got you!" Tommy lay down beside them, reaching for Ray's collar. Together the 3 of them pulled, their muscles straining, their hands slipping on Ray's sweat-slick skin. Ray's feet scrabbled against the brick wall, trying to find purchase, trying to help them lift his weight. "On 3, Miguel grunted. 1, 2, 3. They pulled. Ray's shoulders came up over the edge, then his chest, and then Tommy grabbed his belt and hauled him the rest of the way onto the roof. Ray lay there gasping, his whole body shaking. "I thought," he started. "Don't," Marcus said. "Don't think about it. You're okay. You made it." Across the gap, Carmen stood alone on the other roof. The sky behind her was turning pink and gold. Dawn was coming fast. "Your turn," Miguel called to her. Carmen looked at the gap, at the 5-story drop, at her brother's sister who'd betrayed him. She'd spent her whole life being careful, being good, staying inside the lines Diego drew for her. And where had it gotten her? Nowhere. Trapped. A prisoner in her own life. She backed up to get a running start. "Carmen, wait," Miguel started. But she was already running, her feet flying across the tar paper, her body light and fast. She jumped with her arms outstretched, her face fierce, and she cleared the gap by a full 2 feet. She landed in a crouch, perfect, like she'd been jumping rooftops her whole life. Miguel grabbed her and held her tight. "Don't ever scare me like that again." "We're not dead yet," she said. "Let's keep moving." They found the fire escape and climbed down to the 3rd floor, where a window opened into a dark hallway. The building was silent, its residents still sleeping. They moved like ghosts through the corridor, down the stairs, through the lobby with its broken mailboxes and peeling paint, and out onto 163rd Street. The street was empty, except for a man walking a dog 2 blocks away. The sky was fully light now, the sun not yet visible, but its promise painting everything gold. They ran, staying close to the buildings, until they reached Carmen's block. The bread truck was already there. It sat at the curb in front of Carmen's building, its engine idling, white with blue lettering that said Morningside Bakery. The driver's door opened, and a man stepped out, mid-40s, stocky, wearing a white uniform and a tired expression. "You, Leon?" Miguel asked. The man looked them over. 5 teenagers, sweating and dirty, one clutching a camera. "Carmen? That's me." Leon nodded slowly. "Your mama said you might need a ride, said it was important, said to ask no questions." "It's important," Carmen confirmed. Leon studied them for a long moment, then jerked his head toward the back of the truck. "Get in. I got deliveries in Manhattan anyway. I can drop you at 3rd Avenue and 149th before I head downtown. After that, you're on your own." "That's all we need," Marcus said. "Thank you." Leon opened the truck's rear doors. Inside were racks of bread. White, wheat, rye, still warm from the ovens, filling the truck with the smell of yeast and comfort. The 5 teenagers climbed in and sat on the floor between the racks. Leon closed the doors, plunging them into dimness, broken only by small ventilation slits. They heard him climb into the cab, heard the engine rev, felt the truck begin to move. No one spoke for a long moment. They sat in the darkness, breathing hard, their bodies pressed together in the small space. Ray was still shaking. Marcus's hands hurt where he'd grabbed the roof edge. Tommy held the camera like it was made of glass. Miguel and Carmen leaned against each other, their fingers intertwined. "We made it," Ray finally said. "We actually made it." "We made it to the truck," Marcus corrected. "We still have to get to the DEA office. We still have to convince them to help us. We still have to." "Marcus," Tommy interrupted. "Shut up and take the win." Marcus smiled despite himself. The truck rumbled through the Bronx streets, carrying them away from Diego's territory, away from the neighborhood that had been their entire world, towards something unknown. Through the ventilation slits, he could see the city passing by. Familiar streets, familiar buildings, the only home any of them had ever known. The truck turned onto the Grand Concourse, heading south. They were leaving the Bronx. They were leaving everything they knew. And they were doing it together. 5 kids with 7 photographs and a desperate hope that justice might actually exist somewhere in this city. 3rd Avenue and 149th, Carmen said quietly. "That's the edge of Diego's territory. After that, we're in neutral ground. We can catch the subway to Manhattan." "What's the address for the DEA office?" Tommy asked. Marcus pulled out his notebook, the one he'd been filling with plans and contingencies. 26 Federal Plaza, downtown. We take the 6 train to Brooklyn Bridge, walk 2 blocks east. "And then what?" Ray asked. "We just walk in and hand them the photographs? What if they don't believe us? What if they think we're just kids making up stories?" "Then we make them believe us," Marcus said. "We show them the photographs. We tell them everything we know about Diego's operation. We give them enough that they have to investigate." "And what about Carmen's mother?" Miguel asked. "Diego's going to know Carmen helped us. He's going to go after her family." "Witness protection," Carmen said. "That's what Marcus said. The DEA can put my mother somewhere safe, somewhere Diego can't find her." "If they agree to help," Ray said. "They'll agree," Marcus said with more confidence than he felt. "They have to." The truck slowed, then stopped. They heard Leon's door open and close, heard his footsteps coming around to the back. The doors swung open, revealing a street corner bathed in early morning sunlight. 3rd Avenue and 149th Street, the edge of the world they knew. "This is your stop," Leon said. "Subway's 2 blocks that way." He pointed south. "You kids be careful, whatever you're doing. And Carmen, tell your mama Leon said she raised a brave daughter." Carmen's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you." They climbed out of the truck one by one. Leon closed the doors, climbed back into his cab, and drove away, leaving them standing on the corner as the city woke up around them. A bodega was opening across the street. An old woman was sweeping her stoop. A bus rumbled past, heading downtown. "The subway," Marcus said. He pulled out the money Sal had given them, enough for 5 tokens and maybe a couple of slices of pizza. "Let's go." They walked south, 5 teenagers in dark sweatshirts, despite the summer heat, one carrying a camera wrapped in cloth. They must have looked suspicious, but no one paid them attention. This was New York. Everyone had somewhere to be, something to do, problems of their own. The subway entrance appeared ahead, the green globe marking the station like a beacon. They descended into the cool darkness, bought their tokens, and pushed through the turnstiles. The platform was nearly empty, just a few early commuters reading newspapers, not looking at anything, not caring about anything except getting where they needed to go. The 6 train arrived with a screech of brakes and a blast of hot air. The doors opened. They stepped inside and found seats in the back of the car. The doors closed. The train lurched forward, carrying them deeper into the tunnel, away from the Bronx, toward Manhattan and whatever waited for them there. Miguel sat with Carmen's head on his shoulder. Tommy clutched the camera. Ray stared at his hands, still shaking slightly. Marcus looked around at his friends, the people he'd known since they were kids, since before they understood what the neighborhood would demand from them. "No matter what happens," he said quietly, "we did the right thing." "The right thing doesn't always save you," Ray said. "No," Marcus agreed, "but it's still the right thing." The train plunged deeper into the tunnel, its wheels screaming on the rails, carrying 5 teenagers and 7 photographs toward a federal building in Lower Manhattan where they would tell their story and hope someone would listen. Behind them, the Bronx receded into the distance. Ahead, the future waited, uncertain, dangerous, and theirs to claim, if they survived the next few hours, if the DEA believed them, if Diego didn't find them first. The train roared through the darkness, and none of them said what they were all thinking. That some journeys, once begun, can never be reversed. That some choices once made change you forever. That they'd crossed more than rooftops this morning. They'd crossed a line that separated childhood from whatever came after, innocence from experience, the people they'd been from the people they were becoming. The train emerged from the tunnel into the gray morning light of Manhattan, and 5 kids from the Bronx held onto each other and hoped it would be enough.